Tonight, gripping testimony in the Leongatha mushroom murder trial as the sole survivor of the deadly beef Wellington lunch spoke of his harrowing ordeal, shedding new light on exactly what happened that day. For the first time since the lethal lunch, accused triple murderer Erin Patterson sat face to face with sole surviving guest Ian Wilkinson, a local pastor and uncle of Erin Patterson's estranged husband, Simon. Under questioning, Ian detailed his relationship with Erin and the unexpected lunch invitation.
There was no reason for the lunch. It seemed like maybe our relationship with Erin was going to improve.
The focus then turned to the lunch itself. Ian recounted Erin refusing any help from Heather and Gail and plating all the food herself, including her own meal, on a different coloured dish.
Erin picked up the odd plate and placed it on the table. She took it to her place on the table.
Ian says he and his wife both ate their whole meals and became sick that night before being rushed to hospital the next day. Heather died less than a week after the lunch, while Ian spent almost 2 months fighting for his life in hospital. Ian recalled Heather raising the issue of the different coloured plates before her death.
We might have discussed it a couple of times, actually. Heather reminding me that there were different plates.
Under cross-examination, Ian admitted Erin did not have allocated seating for her guests and didn't give directions on where the plates should be placed, although he remained adamant that Erin's plate was different to the others.
The plate was smaller, a different coloured plate.
Erin Patterson has pleaded not guilty to 3 charges of murder and 1 of attempted murder.
We are live from the lands of the Kulin Nation. Joining us now is 10 News First Samantha Butler, who is in Morwell and following this. Sam, we heard that Ian spoke about just how sick he and his wife became. How was he during the testimony?
Well, Ian Wilkinson was really quite calm and composed in the witness box today, recalling that the day of that fateful lunch, which claimed the life of his wife as well as his close friends Don and Gail Patterson. He even laughed during some of the lighter moments, remembering his wife and how excited they were to attend that lunch at Erin Patterson's Leongatha home. But we also did learn more about how unwell they were after the lunch and the treatment they received. We heard in court that doctors initially thought they had run-of-the-mill food poisoning, that it was just gastro, until a toxicologist raised the possibility of death cap mushroom poisoning. At the time, they were in different hospitals, Heather and Ian in one, Don and Gail in the other, and we heard that Don didn't receive an antidote for death cap mushroom poisoning initially because they didn't realise anyone else was ill, but that changed quite quickly when tests came back for the other lunch guests and they were all suffering the similar symptoms.
We also heard about Erin's pantry. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, well, Ian Wilkinson really opened up about the discussions that they had when they first got to Erin Patterson's Leongatha home for the lunch in July 2023. And the pantry was something that really stuck out to Heather Wilkinson because she had just built a pantry in her own house. She walked over, we heard during court, she walked over towards the pantry, but Ian said that Erin was reluctant to follow her, and that was something that really stood out to him. He thought, perhaps the pantry was just a mess and she was embarrassed about it. He didn't follow her over, but that was something that really stood out to him that we heard today during the court trial.
Sam, we know they're religious people and they said grace before the meal, but then they also said a prayer after they ate. What was that about?
Yeah, well, what we heard today from Ian Wilkinson is that after the lunch, there was a bit of light-hearted banter, but that quickly turned serious when Erin Patterson revealed that she had been diagnosed with cancer. Ian said that she was quite concerned that the diagnosis was serious and potentially life-threatening, and she was quite anxious about how to break that news to her 2 children. The lunch guests advised her to be honest, and then Pastor Ian Wilkinson, who has been a pastor at Currumborough Baptist Church for 26 years, led a prayer for her health and that she would receive the treatment that she needed. Now, we do know, of course, that cancer claim Erin made was in fact false. The court has heard that, and that is a fact that is not disputed by her defence team.
Sam, this is a case and a story that has drawn huge interest from around the globe. So what's the kind of buzz been like around the town where you are?
Yeah, well, there is a huge media contingency here in Morwell, both from Australia and overseas as well. To give you a bit of an idea, we have a reporter here filing for the BBC, as well as a crew that is creating a documentary for the streaming platform Stan. And that means that the accommodation around Morwell is pretty much fully booked. A lot of people have actually had to go to surrounding towns to find a room. And the hospitality operators we've spoken to certainly seem to welcome that boost in business. But this is a trial that has put Morwell on the map. It's a small regional town here in Victoria, and it will continue to be the centre of attention for the coming weeks as this trial continues.
What a way to get on the map. Samantha, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.